So you want to know how to create, gather, and show writing samples that impress people and land you clients. I hear you, I see you, and I invite you to soak up the information I'm about to share. See, by the end of this video, my foolproof steps, you're going to know exactly how I've created a writing portfolio and samples, even when I was brand new, and even if you haven't had a single client, so you can feel decisive and self-assured having these samples and clicking the send button. The best insights and advice on writing, copywriting career, and pursuing your goals with just radical self-expression where you actually feel like yourself and what you want to do, not what everyone else is wanting or demanding or saying you should do. Subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to get notified every time I post videos. Because really, I only create videos on the shit that's like actually worked for me. I've taken my business to the next level and made me happier. Like, holy shit, happier. Let's dive in. I get the vital importance of creating a writing portfolios and delivering samples that you feel confident about, that you feel assured in hitting send on versus so nervous, like maybe you feel that way, because I definitely used to. See, I went from 20 cents a word to being paid thousands of dollars per day as a copywriter and a content writer. I didn't have connections and started off with really almost no experience. And I often thought I had to have famous brands as past clients or some fancy metrics in my samples, analytics, data in order to be worthy, feel worthy of displaying or sending anything that would get clients to be impressed with me or want to book me for a project or to hire me. But I can tell you the absolute truth. The absolute truth is, just like dark chocolate is heaven in rectangular form, you can create an awe-inducing portfolio and send samples that make clients do a double take. Even if you're new to an industry, haven't had clients, and you don't have famous logos or famous companies in your portfolio yet, that's okay. It's okay. And even if you feel shy at sharing or feel weird selling yourself, or you're not proud of some of your writing right now, that's okay. It's a safe space. I'm going to show you, even with all these same attributes I myself had, what I have done that totally worked. So let's dive in. I'm going to share logistically, visually, and the writing itself, how I did this. I encourage you to get a pen, paper, a notebook, or have a doc by you to take notes and write these steps down so you can really start implementing as soon as possible. Anyone can do these, I promise. And there's me a point number 5, where if you haven't really had clients yet, how do you write samples? If you haven't had a ton of clients or experience or are new to an industry, I'm gonna address that in point number 5. So important part number 1, I want you to set the intention. I want you to make like the start of an evening candlelit vinyasa yoga class and set the intention of what you want your portfolio and your writing samples to do. And you're invited to use whatever term works for you. Intention, outcome, measurable result, however spiritual or emotional or strategic you want this word to sound. Basically, what I'm saying is, what do you want the outcome to be? What do you want to happen as a result of you sending this work? Do you want to be seen a certain way? Do you want a certain project to be landed? And this might sound simple, like I want to get the client, I want to get hired, but I want you to be even more specific with what you truly mean by that. Do you want to be seen as an expert in health and beauty industry? Do you want to be seen as a consultant who's brought in for thousands of dollars? Do you want to be someone who is there as loyal and reliable and can be brought onto a retainer for many months, even a year long? Again, you sound obvious when you get clear. Write it out. What is your intention? What is the result you desire from your samples, from your portfolio? How do you want to be seen? If this client or whoever it is you want to be reviewing this portfolio were to be talking about you to a colleague, what do you want them to say about you? I also want it to be a positive and exciting experience. It's really easy, and I've been there so much. It's really easy to think about all the what ifs and the negative of what if I'm judged? What if this isn't good enough? So I want us to bring it back to the intention of what if this was so great? What is the best possible result? And think about how exciting of an outcome this can also have for you. Now, it's also really important because without this really clear intention, there's actually a very common mistake I see with majority of copywriters and content writers I've worked with, even people who are very experienced. So this leads to point number 2. So point number 2, share a limited number of samples. And I need to cite a study that's changed how I've done many things in my business and my life, really especially in growing my copywriting career and being able to charge thousands of dollars a day with a waitlist of clients. This is important. It's really important, even if you've heard this study, to come with this different mind and context. So in the year 2000, a study came out from 2 psychologists from Columbia and Stanford University, Sheena Iyengar and Mark Lepper. So at a local food market, they wanted to see what would happen to sales based on the number of samples that they put out. So there was a day when they put out 24 samples of jam, literally 24 jam samples. And while I don't know the exact types that they put out, I can't help but imagine this array of jars. In my mind, I see this luscious, visceral array of blackberry compotes and raspberry seed spoonfuls. And then the other day, they put just 6 out. They had just 6 jars of jams. So I see in my mind these 2 sets of 3 rows of bright colored options that people passerby could peruse. Here is what is so important and what matters. With 24 jars, there was more interest. There was more people coming in, peering over, looking down at the jams. However, with 6 jam jars, on the day that they only put out 6 jam jars at the shop, at the store, there might have been less visual interest. But even with less people, they were 10 times more likely to purchase. 10 times their sales with 4 less options. 6 compared to 24, 10 times more likely to actually have purchases, 10 times more sales. Let that ruminate. So in their published study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, it even says this, and I quote, "Participants even reported greater subsequent satisfaction with their selection and wrote better essays when their original set of options had been limited." So people not only bought more when they had less to choose from. When there was less to choose from, they purchased more and they were happier. They were actually more content and satisfied with what they did pursue. This is a singular example showing a powerful human concept where human brains are wired. And this really applies to your writing, portfolio, and samples. With too many choices, our brains are less likely to make any decision. It's a term that the study also cites as choice overload. So this is not a one-time phenomenon, right? Published research have proven this again and again. Whether you're brand new or dreaming of the day you can have 10 clients waitlist deep, I have worked with hundreds of copywriters, entrepreneurs, and here's what I see again and again. Most copywriters and freelancers give too many samples. They think that a higher volume will lead to higher levels of income and respect from a potential client or hiring company. In reality, so many links, a higher volume of links and references can be very overwhelming. Many business owners, CEOs, marketing content directors are really busy. There's someone who also gets up in the morning and maybe they do a 30-minute Peloton workout and then they check in on their children and make sure that they're getting up and they hope to work in a 10-minute meditation and they get to their computer and their inbox is overflowing and they have piles of notebooks around them and they open up proposal, the samples, they have a project with a lot of moving pieces and they need a copywriter that comes in and can you be that person that makes it even an ounce more clear and simple to wade through a decision in their really busy day. So it's just this reminder that it's not about having to be the more the merrier. Too much can feel overwhelming and even messy to someone who's hiring and looking for a copywriter. Here's my number. You have 3 to 5 samples maximum. Unless they give you a certain list of, I want to see 10 different emails and they follow up, 3 to 5 samples maximum. A limited amount of samples, they give the most important thing of all, relief. Sometimes when I say this, the instinct is to say, but I need to show all of me, but I've done so many things. I have so many examples to choose from, especially when you get further into your career. I'm going to get into that. And here's part of it. Point number 3, have a simple PDF or visual using screenshots. Now I know there's a lot of sexy and scintillating ways to share a portfolio, and those can be beautiful and wonderful and great. There's ways to design and maybe create ebooks of it and all that jazz. And yes, When I was 8 years old, 8 or 9, I was in the world of competitive dance, and I totally did a dance routine to the song All That Jazz from the musical Chicago. Any other competitive dancers here? And interesting, just like the musical Chicago, right? It's about persuasion, how to frame an argument, how to present your story. Now, in that case, it's about how to present it in court. Your portfolio is actually really the same. Your portfolio is about perception. It's not. I hope to convey this with so much love. Your portfolio is not a list of everything you've ever done. Your portfolio is the story you choose to tell on how you want to be seen and perceived as a writer. So it's not about needing 15 links to all your most recent projects and every detail of every project that you've ever done. What is the most powerful, and when I saw a lot of game changes in my business, is using a portfolio and your samples to sculpt and tell the story of how you want to be seen. So here are the questions I invite you to ask yourself. What are the 3 elements you really want to be seen as? What do you want their attention to really go to? Like if they could only see 3 things you've ever done, like 2 headlines you've ever done, 2 emails that really wow, it is better and more powerful to have less and your most powerful work that you're most proud of than a ton of things that are being scattered, thrown at them. Often, someone doesn't actually need to read 17 to 24 pages of copy and writing to know they want to work with you or get to know you more at the next level. So we want to highlight what is most your essence and skill set. So here's an example that I've created based on our clients. In this case, I'm going to put my own business. Here are things I created for my own business, and I do it in sort of a screenshot way. So here's an example of exactly how you can do this. And I used my own work websites, emails as an example to create a portfolio. So this is literally how I would map mine out. I would have this writing samples by Allison Evelyn, and you could do copywriting examples. You could say content examples, you get more specific. I say something like, through these samples, you're going to see examples of, and then put in whatever it is you want to say. So I said brand positioning, messaging, taglines. Maybe you say examples of social media captions that got lots of likes or engagement or whatever it might be. Then I go through and give a little breakdown. So website landing page copy. Of course, I made a sample for you. So saying what I did, then giving a link here. And then I'm telling you, I'm putting you watching this here, why I'm putting the screenshots. So I'd put the screenshots here of the lines I'm most proud of. So example, I would just take a screenshot of this part. For example, my own website is on the lines I'm most proud of. Going on tiptoe is for dance, not your life. I then put an example of another line, another part of the website that I am proud of. I don't need a hand puppet to command attention. My powerful words will have your audience pouncing. And you get more specific. So for example, right above this, I could write, this is an example of a speaking page I've written. So this was for specifically hiring me to speak. So if someone was hiring you for something like that, you can put specifically what it is. And then again, add this link, see the full website at AllisonEvelyn.com so they can link. But already the client can really glance at this potential lead can open it, and even in just a few screenshots get such a quick idea of your style. I also did an example for email writing because you don't have to say the whole email, it can just be screenshots. So for example, saying email writing, letting the person know what this email is. Is it a welcome sequence, a promo sequence? And this is applicable again for any type of writing. Maybe this is social media writing. Maybe this says video scripts, whatever it might be, and then screenshots. So for example, I screenshot the subject line. Yes, I do this in bed. And then I screenshot and I'll share the entire email, just parts of the email. So in this case, I just shared the top part. And I shared this one because I pride myself on doing off storytelling emails. This is my style. I tell stories and then turn them into metaphors. So I might share this and then also screenshot the end of the email when I share what it's actually a metaphor of, what it's actually about. And again, it's amazing how something as simple as this, a PDF with screenshots, can have someone go, yes, this is the copywriter for me. This feels good. And it doesn't have to be as big, intense portfolio. Now, personal pro tip from me, I have never used a fancy portfolio tool, not because I couldn't have, not because I wouldn't have spent the time or invested the dollars, but I found in my personal experience, especially as a freelancer, a lot of the people and the entrepreneurs and businesses I was working with were so busy. They honestly found a relief of opening up a quick document, being able to scan it and keep moving on with their day, to open up new links and new tabs and click within those and watch videos. felt like a lot to a lot of them. So this is not a right or wrong. If you really feel called to a certain type of portfolio or experience or website that you want to use, this is totally getting to do what feels great for you. That's my personal experience, especially in the freelance writing world, and what that panned out like for me. If you are applying to a certain style of company or agency where they expect or ask for something different, this might not quite apply, but this is what has worked, and even bigger companies I've worked with in some of these ways, just sending a plain white PDF document, it is wild what that has done. Also, by sending the plain white PDF of my samples of screenshots, that is what I've used to land even $13,000 projects. People have paid me thousands of dollars a day with those methods, and where I didn't even have to get on a sales call. So this personally has worked in my experience. Take it in and see what feels right, what feels good for you. Before I keep diving into really specific strategies, comment below and tell me, are you feeling any more excited? Are you feeling even one more millimeter more hope or pumped up to put together your portfolio and seeing, can this be simpler than maybe you thought? Comment below with either yes or let's do this or any excited phrase that's 3 words or less. Comment below, tell me if you're feeling a little more excited, juicy. This can be simple. This could be easier than I thought. I don't have to build a huge, gorgeous design portfolio website. It could literally be putting some screenshots on a Google Doc and saving it as a PDF. Yes. Yes. Try that again. Component number 4, have 2 to 4 sample documents. So rather than have a massive document with tons of links, maybe you do have several different types of projects. So it doesn't work to literally only have a few samples. So what I've done over the years is I had 3 to 4 sample documents at any given time, like 1 sample sending to potential website clients, 1 sample sending to potential email clients. So you can have multiple different types of samples, but I would keep them as separate documents and only send individual clients that document that makes sense for them and has only 3 to 5 samples on it. Point number 5, what to do if you are new to an industry or haven't had clients yet and don't have paid writing work to show. So maybe you want to go into wellness, but you haven't done that quite yet. Or you're just plain brand new to writing, content writing. Here's a couple options. So 1, you could go to their website and give some recommendations and words and even write up 1 or 2 things that come to mind as you go through that company's website. So I'm not encouraging you to do free work. And if you do this once or twice, not to then go forward and keep doing that. I really want you to be paid for your expertise, but especially in the beginning, yes, give some recommendations and write things and ideas and headlines that come to mind for that company's website, or even make up a company and write up some things, or write for your own website. Create writing for your website, screenshot that, let your own website. You don't have had a single paid writing client yet. You could write a 1-page website and that be an example of your copywriting. That's the beautiful thing about being writers. We get to be our own living, breathing example of how we show up with our words. Okay, so now that you know some really specific ways to create your portfolio that wows, that impresses, that can even be simpler than you think, yet impresses and helps people make decisions to hire, to land that job, to land the gig, to land the client, here's another thing that might be coming up for you. How about how to present the portfolio itself, or stand out with the work, or to even price the work once you land it or talk about a contract. So I bundled up my best techniques in my totally free masterclass. There's especially one technique. It's a 3-minute method to convert clients that I've literally landed a project that was $6,000, and they told me they narrowed down from a ton of copywriters to 3, and then they chose me from this method. And they were a big company, and this method totally worked. And then I went on to work with them for like 2 more years and get tens, thousands more dollars actually in projects with them. So 3-minute method, totally free to use it. I reveal it at this free masterclass. The link is in the description to sign up and join now. And then to keep getting more and more juice for how much else is possible, and to keep accelerating your writing business, your writing career, check out these videos next on how to pursue your copywriting vision and accelerate your goals. If you like this video, do make sure to subscribe, share with any other writer that you think would benefit.